Today I want to share a concept with you that, for me and a lot of students, revolutionized the way we sing. Hi and welcome to today's video. Just in case you don't know me yet, my name is Freya and I'm a professional singer and vocal coach from Germany. Singing from the top of your breath. Now think about it. I always talk about this with my students. I was like, singing from the top of your breath. This is where you have the most control. This is your default starting point. And what I mean by singing from the top of your breath means with fully inhaled lungs. So you can either, of course, you can start speaking or singing with just a little bit of air in your lungs, or you can take a nice deep breath and start fully inhaled. Of course, when you start fully inhaled, you have a lot more air to go until you're at the end of your breath. But another thing that is so important, even if you don't have a long phrase to come, when you sing from the top of your breath, you have a lot more expansion. Your ribs expand, which also means your muscles can work so much better. Your posture is usually better because you don't collapse yet. The urge toward the end of a breath is always to collapse. Now, when I think of the air moving, from my lungs through my vocal cords and then creating pitch, like a frequency, I never think of inward motion like in my ribs. I think of an upward motion like from my diaphragm. It's almost like a syringe. You want to feel like you're pushing up the air so that you don't collapse right here in your ribs too much. So you want to have that sensation of gently and slowly and in a very controlled way pushing their air up through the vocal cords. And depending, of course, on what you sing, when you sing higher and louder and intense, there needs to be more compression, meaning the air is more dense. And when you're singing lower or more breathy and softer, a lot of times the air does not need to be as compressed. So, that pressure, the muscle engagement that you have to involve here from your core just varies, okay? It's never static. It always varies, even in a song. When I sing, sometimes some pitches are more intense than others. And sometimes I sing more breathy. So it changes. It's a constant back and forth, and it's just this very dynamic use of how you use your muscles. But that concept of starting from the top of your breath, and what I don't mean is this: collapse, then you take a breath, and you kind of sit. You just it's almost like it's like, you lean into the pitch. What I mean is taking the inward breath, expanding your ribs, and actually practicing that being inhaled, holding the air without letting it go outside with an open pipe in the back of your throat. This is the sensation I want you to have when you start a phrase. Now, of course, granted, you're not going to start every single phrase with that fully inhaled breath. Sometimes we take smaller breaths, and sometimes we start at the end. That's totally okay. But it's that general concept of having that control of the expansion and that holding the air in without resistance. I hope you know what I mean. It's really this, practice this. Inhale. Leave your throat open, relax everything, but keep your sternum lifted and feel how the air remains in your body, but you're neither inhaling nor exhaling. You're holding, but you're leaving the pipe open. So you're keeping that equilibrium of the air staying inside, but being ready to move either way, in or out. And that's what we need. So every time I start singing, it's not like, but it's more like top of my breath. And now I could do anything. It's almost like for a split second, you want to have that sensation of I'm holding that equilibrium. The pipe is open. Now I could do either I could vocalize or not. I could wait or go ahead. So, ah, 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 ah. I could sing on one breath. See what it also does, even when you're, on your way to exhaling and you're using that airstream can last for quite a long time. So what you don't do is control how the air comes out with the glottis or the epiglottis, meaning your vocal cords, or that pipe closing, that epiglottis, that closes up the trachea. That is not what we want to use to control. We just want to use those muscles down here that keep that equilibrium. So I sing a little bit, and then it's almost like I'm holding it where it is. So a little bit of air went out, but again, I'm not inhaling or exhaling, but I'm keeping the pipe open. I'm keeping that balance. The air stays in my lungs, and now I breathe out again, and now I breathe out again. That assures that every single pitch in your phrase is controlled and supported, and really just uses that controlled airstream. Try it out. For me and most of my students, this concept made a big difference. And it's really just the description of it, that like everyone will describe it differently. I call it singing from the top of your breath, because it's that concept of controlling your air with your support, with those muscles around here, and not with that, okay? So not leaning against the vocal cords, but controlling the pressure and density and speed of your airstream with the muscles. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments. Is this a new concept for you, or maybe you heard it in different words? How are you on that with support and air control? If you want more resources to polish your voice, you can check out my website at masteryourvoice.tv. And I would love to connect with you either on Facebook or on Instagram. Let me know what's going on in your singing journey. And until next time, always keep a song in your heart and always keep on singing. Amazing grace, how sweet